Hello and welcome back. It's the Full 40 with Chris, Willie, and Trevor, part of the Nova Insider Network and brought to you by Home Field Apparel. So real quick, guys, like the Home Field drop happened. There's a new bomber jacket, light blue. It is with the old V logo, the 1985 V, that one that Trevor's got on his hat. That logo, light blue, it with a wild. I think it's got the Wildcats.
Across the back.
Wildcats across
nice
the back.
Striping.
It is
on its way to my mailbox right now.
Gorgeous.
Chris, something important, real quick. Can you pronounce the jacket name again?
What?
What kind of jacket is it?
A bomber jacket.
Okay.
What?
You heard it. You heard it, Trevor.
You said bomber. Which I wasn't going to say anything.
It was a TJ Bamba jacket.
Yeah.
That's great. I didn't realize I was so intentional about the way I pronounced that second B.
But sure people knew it was there.
But it is gorgeous, and I ordered one. I used the code FULL40. I used my wife's email address as a thank you to her. I got her a Penn State hoodie. And so that was my thank you. And then I bought a bunch of gear because that wasn't the only thing that I bought.
I went just for the jacket this go around. The great thing about Home Field is they have, like you said, you got the Penn State hoodie. They have all the schools that are important to my family. So I'll be making a Christmas run for sure. But all I cared about right now is the bomber jacket. I was showing people in the stands at the game, talking it up, getting a lot of buzz over it. The light blue is clean. It's fresh. I'm excited.
Yeah, I didn't buy the jacket yet. I bought a T-shirt this time, but I mean, I'm loving it. I'm excited about the deal. What I think I'm going to do is I might just go rogue and start buying like a bunch of shirts for teams I don't even like. Honestly, you just might see me start repping random teams on this. Catch me next week in like a Valparaiso shirt. Like that might be what my move is, kind of going from here on out.
Any school that Villanova beats, Willie has to buy a T-shirt. And let's see if we can get Willie broke by the end of this.
Willie is going to have 40 shirts.
40-0, baby. I'm going to buy multiple Georgetown shirts.
Yeah, there you go. I was like, how does that work?
Every school that like Villanova gets confused with for people who aren't familiar with Villanova. So Vanderbilt, Valparaiso. I've gotten that a lot of times. Like, oh, that's in Villanova. That's in Nashville. I'm like, you're thinking of Vanderbilt. Or it's like, oh, isn't it like the middle of nowhere? I'm like, you're thinking of Valparaiso. I don't know where that came from, but
again, well, we know Willie won't be getting a Liberty T-shirt.
No.
I will not be.
Are we getting a Nova Southeastern?
Oh yeah, Nova Southeastern.
T-shirt. Yeah,
Nova Community College.
The University of Northern Virginia. I don't know if that's a real place. Not to be confused with West Virginia or the western part of Virginia.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of the western part of Virginia, game of the week, JMU beats Michigan State.
That's a great transition. Everyone give him a round of applause for that. That was
good. Which was the broad highlight of the non-Villanova games that happened for the first two games of college basketball season. But yeah, to wrap that up, full 40 worth with a new email, get you 15% off that sweet bomber jacket and anything else in the store. So moving on to the game, because we finally got to see what the 2023-2024 Villanova Wildcats look like. The pavilion was rocking, especially at one particular moment. But the pavilion was alive and rocking, and things seem to be back. Are we back? Like what are the takeaways from this game? Obviously, a pounding of of American is not going to tell us a ton, but we learned. I feel like still we got a lot of new information. Got to see the guys play, whatever. So go ahead, guys. What were your takeaways from the game?
I think the number one thing that I came away with this game is I'm not even going to focus on the players. It's just the lineup versatility and the substitution pattern. Obviously, we were facing Americans, so yes, it's an inferior competition. But Kyle did a really good job of like getting deep really quickly. Like, I think we can begin to start to look at like we are gonna go 9 deep, and it's going to be our starting 5. Mark, Justin, TJ, Tyler, and Eric. And then coming off the bench, Hakeem Hart, Jordan Longino, who looks really good in a comeback. I'm hopefully he's really fully healthy. And then Hausen and Ware. I can say pretty confidently those will probably be the 9 we see most every game. Now, Hausen and Ware, I feel like their minutes will probably be the ones that fluctuate the most depending on matchups, depending on fouls, flow of the game. Burton only played about 20 minutes today or on Monday because of foul trouble. He got in a couple of just like ticky-tacky fouls, so there's like less minutes for him. That's where I'd expect to see them. So one, just the ability to go 9 deep and like actually feel like it was a normal 9 deep. Like eventually Nana and Chris came on, but that was just more blowout time. That was something I was really proud of. And then the other thing was just all the different lineup variations we saw. Because we can go 9 deep, there's so many different lineup variations. It's not just 9 deep, but it's 9 deep where every single player is interchangeable more or less. Like, honestly, outside of Armstrong, I think everyone on the team is versatile to play like 2 to 3 positions. Like Mark is basically your 1, or sure, he can be a 2. But when Mark's on the floor, it's like he's very designated to being the 1. Every other player had played multiple positions, whether that was Burton playing the 5-4-3, Dixon playing the 4 and 5, Ware playing 4 and 5. Everyone had a lot of versatility to them, and I was really excited to see that. And that led to length. That led to, while there was defensive communication issues, it led to a lot of just really interesting defensive play. I was happy about how we looked. I was happy about the flow. So for me, that was one of those games where I was very proud of just like, it looked the way that it should. It wasn't like, oh, we kind of looked weird and then like we pulled away. It looked the way that it should have, and we played the way that we should have. So that's what I came away with, that thinking really good of like Kyle's management of the lineups and then our lineup versatility.
I mean, on the length and the versatility point, I'll just say that I think this team has a high defensive ceiling. Clearly not there yet. There was a lot of issues, especially in the first half. It was messy at points, but which is fine. It's always messy. Every year we come on here and say the defense is messy early, and we all know it's because the switching defense is tough. You got to communicate. It's just it's a lot of, there's times where you're supposed to switch. There's times where you're supposed to not switch and cut above a screen. There's just a bunch of stuff and wrinkles to the defense, and it takes time to learn. But the fact that every player can guard 3 to 4 positions, honestly guard them, not just like, hey, we don't care, we'll switch Dixon on to the 1, like whatever. Like, I mean, like all the guys in the middle of that roster can go almost 1 through 5. Right? Like, and the fact that they have that capability will put us in a lot of positions where we're not going to get mismatched to death by teams. Like, it's going to be difficult. Now, the communication has to improve, can be expected, especially with a lot of new faces in the program. But I have a high faith in the ceiling of this in this defense. Let's just hope that this team can get there, and that's on Kyle, as well as the leaders on the team to make it happen. Now, Trevor, you were there. Yeah. Tell us about the Fin. I heard that there's a little drama about the concessions, but tell us about the Fin. What did you see live? What was the vibes like live?
So yeah, I was there. One of my friends had an extra ticket for me, so I happily drove out for it. Immediate first impressions were, oh, it's great. Like, same old Fin for me. Upon walking around, I turned a corner and the concessions are totally revamped on at least the second level, that it's all like self-serve now on at least one side. I don't know if I did a complete lap. but they took out the concessions on the area by where they have the San Antonio Final Four court on the wall. That's now a bookstore outlet location where you can get a custom jersey made.
Oh,
They have a heat press and blank jerseys that you can get, whatever number and your name or specific player names made then and there, which was pretty cool, I thought. I know Wells Fargo does that for Sixers, Flyers. I'm sure the other pro sports arenas do that too. So that was pretty cool to see. Somebody mentioned that they wanted a Bamba jersey immediately, and I was like, well, if you go around the corner, you can get one made. The serve yourself concessions, that's a thing now. You just pick out whatever you want from the fridge, go down and pay at the computer. I'm not going to bring up what I texted Willie about. He got really angry about it. I guess I have to bring it up now. They do ask you if you want to tip yourself, essentially, because you are serving yourself. So there will be a prompt to ask if you want to tip on it. I suggest do what you have to do on that.
Why are you so anti-service workers?
I'm not anti-service workers. It's just I'm doing the work here.
You've earned it.
I have earned the tip. Yeah, so that was interesting. I know Eric the dad tweeted that he was a little upset about how
let's not put words in his mouth. He spoke factually.
He was upset that he got some stale popcorn and a bottle of a lemonade, and it was like $20. So that's reporting facts, I think.
He did not say he was upset. That is not fact.
He tweeted that he bought stale popcorn and a lemonade, and it was $20.
Yeah,
infer from that.
That is all he said. That's all he said.
That's
know
all
your
he
facts,
said.
bro.
But it was good to see. I didn't actually get a chance to talk to him. I saw him from across the section. I got to meet Tommy Scoops in person. That was fun. Listen to the Mainline Minute, brought to you by No Insider Network.
It's got a new episode out today.
New episode tonight as we
just
speak.
happened.
The pavilion was loud, especially in that hectic scramble for the loose ball. Everybody diving, taking multiple bodies out with him. The Dixon block on the other end. It got loud, which was fun. It's always interesting, those early season games, especially against inferior opponents. You wonder how the crowd's going to be. And early on, it was a little uneasy as the game was a little bit closer. But as we opened it up a little bit and big plays were being made, it got loud, it got fun. And it was a good experience. It was a good game one. Like we said, it's American. It's an inferior opponent. We were supposed to win by 30 and or 22 was the line or whatever it was. I told my friend I would like to win by 30. I think we won by 27. So no, it was great. Looking forward to going back on Friday.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about the play, right? We got to talk about the play because that got all the play on social media. Duke is responding to Villanova about it. It was a whole thing. I loved it. The play was awesome. The play was terrific. Trevor, you referred to it. Njoku comes flying in. I just lost it.
Okay, it was a Burton or Bamba tip into the backcourt.
Yeah.
Bamba dives for it, then Burton dives for it, and then Nana came in like
he slipped
10 seconds too late.
Yeah.
Like sliding into home and just completely obliterated the American player. But the best part was it was in the backcourt right in front of the Nova bench. And like they had to hold, like the coaches and everybody were like holding each other back because everybody was up and screaming in all the players' faces that were diving all over the court. It was like for Villanova fans and just program people, that was like pure ecstasy of like, this is what we mean when we say 40 minutes of Villanova basketball. That was kind of, and haters will be like, it's just, people diving for, who cares? But no, that's like, if that was what it was all about. Like Hausen had to be held back so that he didn't run onto the court basically. And then the block on the other end, the transition three, American needed to talk it over, timeout, just the place exploded. It
Just
was
absolute pandemonium.
I think there was more excitement for that play than like any of Cam's posters last year. Like the Penn one, like just the level, because it also built. Like it built up. You had the dive, then you had the second dive, then you had the crap.
You got to pause, and then you had Nana almost kill someone.
Yes, then you had Nana almost kill, and then you had they're about to score a layup on the other end, and then whether it was Eric or Justin, I can't really tell who got a little piece of the ball. Then that happens, and then Burton comes in transition. It's just like fuck it, I'm putting this up, and then hits a transition 3-ball. Like it was just everything that you wanted it to be. So it was a really fun play, just to see live.
That transition 3-ball reminded me of one of my favorite players of all time, Miles Powell.
Honestly, one of my favorite non-Nova players of all time. This is Miles Powell podcast.
He's my favorite player that's currently suing his former.
It has a history of being a Miles Powell podcast, in fairness.
I like the story that when Coach Wright was like, hey, I'm glad you're finally leaving the Big East. And he was like, well, I mean, you've won 2 national championships since I've been here, so I don't like he's like, I'm not sure how I'm the problem.
Also,
like it wasn't a backhanded compliment, but in that frame, you're like, right, because you guys have done so poor. Like,
yeah.
All right, so like, here's the thing that I'm just gonna try and summarize it really 40 like high level, right? I'm talking business terms, right? From a 40,000 foot perspective. But seriousness, like the biggest takeaway that I had is that at least for one game, and it is just one game versus American, it felt normal again. It felt like, hey, okay, like if I had to project off of one game and one game only, like, okay, if last year was a blip, right? But like, obviously we need to see how they play against better competition, how they play in their Turkey tournament in the Bahamas. Like we got to see all of that. But it was for one moment in time, for 40 minutes in time, like it was Villanova basketball is back, baby. Right. Like, and that was
the transfers appear to have bought in, which is key. And the guys that stayed bought in. That was the biggest thing for me to see. You worry about that from year to year, especially if, we heard a lot of buzz about Nana. He didn't really get to play until game was decided, second half, under 10 minutes left. But all those guys diving all over the place, like the culture is still there. And that's what I think was the biggest like relief. Like, okay, for, like you said, if for one game only, like, this is Villanova basketball. The new faces have bought in. The returning faces are upholding the tradition. So that was really cool to see.
But seriously, someone got in Bamba and Burton's ear and said, "Do the diving thing because the fans will really love you for that." Right? They're like, if you see any ball hit the ground, dive. Right? Like write down. Like put that down in your notes. Dive. It worked. I'm a sucker. I'm such a sucker for it. Everyone's such a sucker for it. And it was great. They could have scored 0 points. Like, oh man, I saw them do that. They're bought in. I respect that.
There were 2 things that I kind of really liked from this game. One was Hakeem Hart. I know I said Burton's my favorite player and like on the team like already. I kind of called that in, like a couple weeks ago. Hakeem Hart might be number 2. He just does it all. Like you want to talk about the definition of a glue guy, you can already see it. I loved every minute when he was kind of being the lead ball handler. I loved his efficiency kind of being off the side of it. Like I liked how he got us in transition. I was a very big Hakeem Hart fan from this game. It was a really good first introduction. I think he finished 11, 6, and 3, just like real balanced. And then the other thing was just in general, like the ball was moving well. Like, I don't think it got too sticky. There are a few like post-ups, but that was just kind of like what it looks like. We actually had 7 post-ups on the day. So it wasn't like an absurd amount, or post-up possessions, I should say. So it wasn't like an absurd amount, but I think overall, like I just like looked at it and I was like, this is like moving just well enough. There wasn't the classic, drive, kick, drive, kick 3-ball motion that we had, but like there was enough drive, kick, couple passes around the perimeter, find an advantage, and then kind of go into the lane. That was really positive. And then honestly, like if we talk about passing, we just talk about the team passing, you have to call out Eric Dixon, who displayed a level of passing that like we've never seen from him. And not just that, we always knew he could pass, but there was a lot of on-ball reps with him driving and creating for others that we didn't see, which for anyone who cares about the draft, if Eric's going to be an NBA player, that's one of the things that you want to see from him. That was a really positive thing. We were playing American, so grain of salt, but his ability to pass was another big surprise for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, alpha dog of the game. There, you could pass it to a lot of different candidates. Dixon was mine. Like Eric Dixon was just like such a difference maker on every end of the court. Like they had no answer for him offensively. I thought he had a good defensive showing. He is, as we said earlier, that he looks like he is more light on his feet. He is
fast.
moving like he's light on his feet. That guy is walking on air. Right?
He was turning corners that like I have never seen from him before, and just getting to the pump fake drive was like, it looked like you were watching it on 3x speed compared to last year.
Yeah, he went end to end on one play.
Yeah,
literally came down with a rebound, just drove it end to end, like couple moves, and goes up high for a layup. He could have absolutely dunked it in motion. He didn't. He kind of just laid it in nice softly, but like he absolutely could have dunked that ball. This guy is, I mean, it's kind of like, in a way, almost like Gillespie-ish, where it's like every time you think a player is kind of like, hey, he's really great, and he must be at his peak, right? He just finds more. And the bag of tricks is crazy deep right now. And the passing. He had 3 passes. He had the one whip. It didn't end up converting. Bamba should have gone right up with it and kind of up faked, which fine, like whatever. But like that whip pass that he threw that ball probably like 100 miles an hour to Bamba inside. That thing flew
that
off
was
his
the
hand.
Bamba pump fake under the basket. Like that's the classic Villanova guy, catches it right at the rim instead of just going up and dunking.
Oh yeah.
Pump fake, dribble, pump fake, almost a 3-second violate. Yeah, that was classic Villanova. Classic
Kasim Drummond, Antonio Pena play right there. That was spot on. But yeah, that pass, and then he had a couple dump downs down low where he almost kind of got into a little bit of a 2-man down low in the paint, or caught a cutter that I didn't even see the guy coming, and he's like dropping dimes like around. Like he was unbelievable. He was absolutely unbelievable. And if that's what we're getting from Dixon this season, holy fucking shit! Watch out, Big East, because it is going to be the Dixon show in a big way.
But you got to watch out because Soriano is 100% 3-point shooter now.
He did drill 2 threes. We'll get to that.
It was interesting to see.
Yeah. No, Dixon took it to another gear. And I don't want this to sound bad, but like last year, it was almost like, especially early in the season when Justin and Cam were out, Eric just didn't have somebody to really pass to.
He was asked to do too much.
Yeah. So this time last year, he didn't have anyone to make those passes to. Now he has 4 legitimate options around him, like we said, at all times. If it's going to be Hausen in the corner, nobody's helping off Hausen. If it's going to be Justin, Bamba, Burton, Hart, whoever on the wing, like he has all these options now that if guys are going to be converging on him to clog the lane, somebody else is going to be open. And as we saw, he is a willing passer. He's trying to make those plays, and he carved them up. It was very fun to watch.
And whispers, he played a little bit of the 4.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
He and Lance played together a bit. I think he and Nana were on the court together too. Like it was, that was fun to see. He's playing his natural position.
Yeah. It took 5 years, but he's there, baby. He played 4 finally. But he was terrific. The shot fit man play of the game, I think, has to go to the whole fucking kit and caboodle. Though Lance Ware made an early entry for it. But I think it has to go to the play, right? Like it's already the play of the season.
Are you talking about Lance Ware's block?
Yeah.
I mean,
or his dunk.
No,
when
I think I'm talking about the block. It was a first half play. So it was on the other.
He had a first half play where he caught the ball, he got to the rim and like stepped through, just dunked on this kid, like baptized this guy. which is what I thought you were talking about.
I was talking about the block on the other end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where
He
he almost
beat.
like sort of let the guy go around
Yeah.
him a little bit, but then just absolutely stuffed him to like a turkey.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's
But
first of all, it's we're keeping it as the Shaq Fit man play.
Yes,
That
it
was
is the
decided.
Shaq Fit man play of the week. We will think about another name, but
Speaking of naming rights, did you see Jay with Right Way for the road?
Yeah.
I did, yeah. Jay was there. He was hiding in like the mid-lower bowl area across from the Nova bench. Somebody pointed him out to me, and like I had no clue that he was at the game. Somebody pointed him out like halfway through. He was liking what he was seeing. I don't think he was texting at halftime or anything like that, so it's always good. Kyle wasn't checking his phone, so yeah. But yeah, Right Way getting named, I think dedicated, I guess, before the St. Joe's game on November 29th. So that'll be cool.
Free throws looked fine. Everyone shot free throws. I'm like just thinking about things like
I think if we made our free throws, we would have won by 29. I think. Missed 2. I think 2 or 3. I can't remember.
Unacceptable.
But yeah, other takeaways. I mean, look, Willie said that he was pleased with he really liked Hakeem Hart's game. I predicted that I'd be this kind of guy going into the season and kind of on the tail end of last year because he was the first transfer. But Bamba, man, I am going to be hitting the la 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 Bamba meme a lot this year on Twitter. Like I just love everything about it. He is absolutely yoked.
He is massive.
He is massive. He's long. He's athletic. He's almost like a cross between Dylan Ennis and like strength-wise, like almost like an Admiral Schofield from Tennessee type guy. Like, he is so chiseled. Absolutely chiseled. But yeah, he was. I just liked everything about it. The dimes were there. The 3-point shot, they were talking on the broadcast. So Trevor, you wouldn't have heard it, but they were talking a lot on the broadcast about how they've been working on the speed, how quickly he gets into his shooting motion. And quick, the release was pretty quick. He shot the ball well. He had a couple shots from fucking South Campus. And so I love that. And guy can get up, super athletic, defends well. Like, he's everything that I look for in a Villanova player. Like after one game, I'm already ready to say it.
If we want to nerd out, he had the highest net rating of any player. So
yeah,
there's also
there you go.
Thanks. That was my next question.
Bam. So paint touches from Marquette will he'll like what I said.
I wouldn't know. He probably blocked me.
That's Anonymous Eagle. That's Anonymous Eagle. It's a different guy. Paint touch is cool.
Yeah.
The other guy who I'll just call out, not that he needs to be mentioned, but Justin Moore he scored the first basket, just very steady, just in control. When he was on the floor as the guard, so Mark Armstrong started, which was an interesting takeaway. We'll see kind of how that progresses throughout the year. Armstrong didn't have a super strong game, but he didn't make any real mistakes either.
I didn't think he played poorly. No, he was the first sub out, I want to say, after like 3 minutes.
For Longino.
Right.
Who looked good.
Longino looked great. Justin, I think anytime that he's going to be on the court, it's just going to be tricky for Mark because Mark is the guy you want to let loose and let run. And Justin, it has that methodical pace to his game. And as we saw, he's like, no, I'm going to back this guy down from the foul line extended and get my shot. I would like to see more passing from Moore. But like we said, it's one game.
I mean, if we want to talk ball, Justin Moore had the worst net rating on the team. So should we cut Justin Moore? That's my comment. Like, I don't know.
But the cool thing about Justin is that he and Eric too. both of them, kind of know when like, okay, these guys defensively are stretching us way out. They're coming way to us. And now's the time to go down low. Like they're reading defenses really well. It happened a lot early with Justin Eric because we struggled to score a little bit because I think we wanted to get the ball whipping around and moving. And those guys just went down low and just started beating the brakes off of them on the post ups. And then finally it loosened up, like, I don't know, right around 10, 20 points into the game, it loosened up and the ball started whipping around. But like, it's almost like it was like a football team establishing the run so they could move to the aerial attack.
Yeah, that's like the perfect example, actually, I think. Super methodical early on. And then that opened everything else up.
Yeah. All right. Was there a pass the fucking ball award?
I don't think so. The refs were letting everybody play. I didn't think Kyle had short. I think the only time that I felt like there was like a short leash was Hazen got caught on like he made like a poor decision on a high pick and roll, which led to a step back three or something like that, and then he got yanked, I think, almost immediately, which was like the only time that I thought like, oh, he kind of has a short leash. He being anybody on the court.
The good thing with that, though, was and obviously we're playing American. We didn't go to zone when Hazen was in. We stayed man. So that was positive.
He was chasing. He was fighting over screens and running around like a crazy person on defense, which he did last year too. But it was more so he was scrambling last year, it felt like.
Yeah.
This go around, it seemed like he was intentionally like, no, I know where I have to get to, and I'm getting there first.
He did cut under that one screen, and he did get pulled. I kind of agreed with the pull. Like Jay would have done the same. Exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
But I agree. It did seem like for the whole rest of that game, he was there and doing what he had to do defensively, which is good. Like it created issues last year for the team. Obviously, they were less deep, but like create issues when you wanted to play Hazen because you wanted to get some buckets, you wanted to get some three balls in the air, and you had to slink into a zone defensively. It's just not what we do. So it was tough.
Yeah, we had a full court press going or the 3/4 court press going, which was fun to see. You had Lance Ware, I think, and Armstrong or Moore at the top of it a couple of times. I think that would be like a Hakeem Hart role moving on. Anytime he's on the floor, it was just we have so much length now in our lineup, and like you said, the interchangeable parts make it real. Like it could have been anyone, you know what I mean, kind of thing.
We were talking about this in the group text earlier, but like this is one of the longer teams we've had. Like just like I was just like, I mean, anecdotally, I don't have the team wingspans up, but like it might
just
be the longest in like 15. Yeah, just with the net ratings, and I have synergy up too. But
screen assists.
Yeah, it might be the longest team we've had in like since like the 2009 teams. Maybe like the 2012 team was as long, but they weren't as good, so it's a little bit different. But like,
tell me more about 2012.
I'll pass. 2018 was like good, but they weren't particularly long. Like I'd say, like because it was smaller guards.
Right.
So I don't know. It's just an interesting thing, and I think I'm curious. I'm excited to see for the rest of the season.
Willie, me and Trevor are also like sitting up and here on the screen, and you're just like down here.
It's the desk. Like if I'm like sit up in the desk and it's up here and I can't go back, it's like weird. Then I can't see the screen, and I'm missing the Villanova box score. So it's a whole thing. We'll get a better setup.
Can I ask a stupid question?
Go ahead.
I think I know the answer to it, but this always kind of flabbergasts me. When people say people are long, they mean their arms and legs. Yes.
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 Okay. That's literally like, okay. I remember hearing it. I specifically remember hearing it with Brandon Wright in 2009. Because I remember watching him on UNC and like, dude's arms are so long. And my friend was like, yeah, he's like one of the longest players out there. And I was like, that's a weird thing to say. And I kind of like, it's one of those things where I hear it. I'm always like, for sure. Like I just agree with anybody that says it.
It means relative to their height.
Right, because most bodies are proportional, but I understand some people
Like
have
Mikhail Bridges' fingertips
He's a
touched
great.
his
He's the
knees.
prime example, but like
We called him Long Boy in our group chats.
But like we're looking for genetic freaks then. And I know we're kind of doing that anyway with like height, jumping and running, but like you would also like an almost deformed person whose arms are like Stretch Armstrong.
Yes. Yeah, actually, yes. That's well said. Yeah,
Going for Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you. I've never had the confidence to ask that. So
Gumby.
Well, I'm glad you worked it up on a live episode. Thank you. But yes, that's what it means. Right? So there you go. I'm glad we got that answer. That's terrific. We've made some progress today. It's the first time we've ever educated anybody about anything on this podcast. So
don't get used to it.
All right, let's talk Lemoyne, the Fighting Dolphins of Lemoyne. Yeah, they got absolutely blown out by Georgetown yesterday.
I know I said I would watch. I did not watch. So tell me a story. What happened? What was the situation? What did they look like? Did Georgetown actually look good, or are they just that bad?
They made Georgetown look really, really good.
Which we did that last year, so we know how that feels. Or no, Georgetown made us look good last year. Yes, that's what I meant to say.
Yes, and then we almost made them look good. We almost lost Georgetown roulette last year in the MLK game, but
right.
They look really bad. I don't have any big Willie. Do you got a scouting report on this, or are you just going with the Ken Palm? Ken Palm says we have a 99.9% chance to win this game.
So I did as much. I didn't watch the game, but watched some highlights. It just looked like Georgetown was overwhelming them physically. That's just what it was. Lemoyne could not shoot. There was open shots that were missed. They missed a lot of threes, but it was just physically they were overwhelmed.
Georgetown home court advantage.
Yeah. I'd imagine the same thing will happen with us of physically overwhelming them. Maybe they get white hot from three, and we're here on next week talking about a JMU type loss where I will walk off the Verrazano's Niles Bridge. But beyond that, it was just they were outmatched. They might be fine in I think NAC, right? Yeah, they might be fine in the NAC, but they're not meant for Big East play right now. At least this early in their D1 career. That
was the quote, right? Their coach said, "Yeah, there's D1 and then there's Big East basketball," and
yeah.
I think that says it all. And
that is true because, Big East basketball, Big East and Big Ten are historically very physical. Right. It's just that's just what it is. And it's an introduction to D1 basketball. And you got that from Georgetown, who, of the last 10 years hasn't been that physical. But Cooley's always had physical teams. So I'd imagine Georgetown would just be physical in general. And then you have us with whether it's Shaq Fit or what are we calling the new strength coach? Do we have a name?
Is it Jack Mack?
Is it Mac Fit now?
Mac Fit, McFit.
McFit.
I don't know.
McFit.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. That's why we don't have a new name.
Whatever it is, we're just still the same yoked team that we've always been. So I'd imagine we're going to see a lot of that. Even if the shot's not going down from us, we'll be able to just out-physical, overwhelm them. Georgetown out-rebounded them by, quick maths, 23. So that's kind of where that's going to come in. So this is a chance for, I think
Eric could have a 20 and 20 game.
A Burton double-double, with rebounds. It's just going to be one of those, depending on how long they play. But this will be another good game to kind of work out some kinks in there.
Ken Palm's got the line at 44.
Oh, wow. That high?
The Ken Palm line. So usually,
yeah,
especially this early in the season, Vegas kind of holds true to Ken Palm. So I would expect the line to be somewhere around 40.
I would bet the under on that. Why not?
The under? Or you're betting for Lemoyne?
Yeah, I'd take Lemoyne plus. It's 40 is a lot.
Well, we'll see what actually it comes out to be, but 40 is a lot. But
if we made our free throws, we would have won by 30 the other night. So
yeah, like 40 is a lot. I mean, sure, but yeah.
Trevor, they're fucking free.
that's what I'm saying. Like they're cheaper than the popcorn. Like
a lot
Take
cheaper. $20 cheaper. And then we got Penn because we're not going to be back until after the Penn game. So we got the University of Pennsylvania Quakers in our first game of the new Big Five organization. And that is at the Palestra. We're playing at Penn. 12-point favorites by Ken Palm there. 88% chance of winning that game.
Willie, have you done a deep dive on them yet? Like, what's their answer for losing Dingle?
Schlackert. Clark Schlackert's supposed to take a leap. They kind of leaned on him a bit in the last game, I believe. It was John Jay University that they played. Schlackert had 14. So that, and then
good old founding father action.
Yeah, like
they
I would say
up on Bucknell today.
Oh, okay. I haven't looked at that game yet.
Yeah, they won. They beat Bucknell by 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that I mean, we know Penn's going to be well coached. We know they're disciplined. They're also old, which is another issue. Not issue, but just another thing in their hat. They're rolling out two seniors and like five juniors. So like they should be good. But yeah, everything will kind of run through Clark Schlackert. How did Schlackert do today, Chris? I'm not looking at that right now.
I'm on Ken Palm, so I don't have.
Okay.
Let me see if I can
just
Let
stall
me see if
for
I
a
can
minute.
get the box. 11 points. 11 points.
Okay.
5 rebounds. So that's good. Tyler Perkins had 24 points.
Tyler Perkins. Okay.
And like 14 rebounds. So he went crazy today.
So yeah, I mean they and Tyler Perkins also had 15 in the game versus John Jay. So like Tyler Perkins, I have nothing on. I believe he's a freshman. So like maybe Tyler Perkins is also part of their answer to that as well. But I mean, it's going to be tough to replace Dingle. Obviously, you lose that individual one-on-one scoring. So I'd be interested to see how they do it. They're actually like pretty decently big, I'd say. Schlackert's the smallest person on the floor at 6'1". Everyone else is 6'3" and up through 6'9". So like there's a lot of versatility there. So they'll be able to match us size-wise, if not like be slightly larger at times, depending on how many of their bigs they throw on the floor.
But are they longer than us?
No.
No one's longer than us.
No.
The Villanova Long Cats is what we call ourselves.
Mm.
But obviously, like there's
big length guys here.
I'm gonna let that one sit. We're just gonna let that one sit, ladies.
I'm drinking tequila.
It's tequila.
I'm drinking tequila.
Anyways,
shouts to Susan Falvey.
Shout out Susan Falvey. But yeah, so there's a bit more like length, or not length. Jeez, now you got me thinking about length. They have a bit more size across the board. What they lack in like the individual talent of Jordan Dingle, I think they'll make up with like just continuity and being older. But like it's one of those games where I could see us rocking like 25-25 for a bit, and it's like, all right, what's going on? And then we pull away in that situation. But that's what I really got on Penn right now. Going to be doing a little bit more of a dive on our fourth opponent, the University of Maryland, where I'll have a little bit more prepared for that.
They have some great names on their roster,
Maryland?
so I'll just call that out.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking Penn.
Penn, yeah.
So Schlackert, you keep saying Schlackert, so that's a good one. Tyler Perkins, that's a very good but like normal name. I like this guy's next name, Cam Thrower. I like that. I like
Augustus Gerhardt.
Augustus Gerhardt's a great name. Johnny Walter, so close to the Scotch. Johnny Walter. And then they got a guy named Reese. Anytime you got a guy named Reese, that's good. I like that. Reese McMullen.
Augustus Gerhardt sounds like a D3 lacrosse player.
Sounds like he's related to Augustus Gibbons from the XXX sequel with Ice Cube. That was Samuel L. Jackson's character name. I'm the only one that saw that movie. I know that, but
I've seen that's State of the Union, right?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Quote to
Brian,
Tupac.
you know I've seen it.
Yeah, I figured you'd seen it.
They also got a guy named Chris Ubachi. So I like that.
Okay, that's my new favorite player in America.
I don't know if I pronounced that name correctly at all. It might be Uboki, whatever.
I don't know how to pronounce this one, but Jake, and then his last name is HSU. Jake Sue.
That'd just be like a shoe or something like that.
Great names. I'm
Cool.
looking.
And then also, I mean, they also have the advantage in coaching. Like, let's just call that out.
Yeah, he's a good coach.
Yeah, I really like him. So I think that's kind of where we're at with Penn. We'll see what Donahue brings to the table. Penn Sneaky has like a weird schedule. They play 4 games in the first week of the season. Like they have John Jay, they play Bucknell, they play St. Joe's Friday, and then they play us on Monday. And then it kind of like spreads out. But that's just a lot of games like in a week. Like 4 games in a week is kind of wild. So
yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Especially to start the season. So maybe they're going to be tired and we'll just blow the doors off them easier.
Lemoyne doesn't have too many great names. There's a guy named Mike DePersia, which is kind of cool. Trent Mosquera and Cypher Owens.
Is that what we're going to do? I kind of like this as a bit. We just pick our favorite names from each team we play.
Cypher Owens is a great name. That's my pick.
Cypher Owens.
I don't know if that's how you spell it. Osifer, whatever.
I like Cypher.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. They're really bad. I'm looking at Ken Pom, and it's just like there's no way to slice them not being awful.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Ken Pom always just you literally uses like percentage chance to win, and it's usually just like double digits. And for whatever reason, this Lemoyne game says 99.9% chance.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Lemoyne, Georgetown. So let's whip around the Big East a little bit. I think we went backwards of what Trevor said he wanted to do.
Yeah.
But let's do a little instant reactions from the Big East so far. So we are 10-1 as a conference, thanks to Paul.
We will not be ranking DePaul.
We will not be ranking DePaul but there's a new trend that's going to come out called Tank DePaul, so that we can tank DePaul so that we can get John Calipari. So
I have not seen anyone else push this agenda except you. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't follow as many Big East Twitter people as you do, but you're the only one that I've seen that's like, trouble in paradise in Kentucky. Calipari would be great at DePaul. Like you're the only one pushing this agenda that I've seen so far.
Let's say it this way. If I'm right, it would be like an all-time moment for me.
Exactly.
If I'm wrong, there's like no ramifications to this.
Yeah. I just want to put it out there that Chris is the only one and deserves all the credit if this happens.
And there's no one around that finds old predictions and then calls the person out later that we
Not
know.
at all.
So you're
Definitely
saying
I am not worried about Brian.
Definitely not producer Brian.
that's my favorite hobby.
No one, especially not the guy who literally produces and listens to every word I say.
Yeah, DePaul dropped one. Embarrassing. They got Rothsteined. Georgetown, like we said, beat the brakes off Lemoyne. Creighton, I think, won by 50.
Creighton was really
like
solid. I put them on for like 4 minutes. They played like Florida A&M. I had them on for the first 4 minutes, and I was like, they're going to absolutely blow the fucking doors off this team.
Yeah, I think Seton Hall had it tough with St. Peter's early on and then pulled away late. Trying to think who else. Like UConn took care of business.
UConn took care of business. Butler really took it to I forget.
I mean, they got Posh, and Posh was treating like great team win. Like I think Posh is all in on being a Bulldog. They got Jamil Telford, who was at Northeastern, and like I actually was a really big fan of his as well. Like I think Butler looked pretty good.
Marquette took care of business. Providence, good strong first showing in the Kim English era.
Yep.
St. John's,
Powerhouse Columbia. Got to watch out for them every few years.
St. John's had their Patino moment. and boy, the media is really jumping into the Patino thing, aren't they?
I am already so tired of it. Like, Soriano has been coached for 5 years from different development, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Rick Pitino grew a jump shot for him. Like he's shooting 100%. He made 2 threes, his first 2 threes in his college career. I get that. Good for Pitino if he was the one to empower him to actually shoot the shot. But you're not telling me that like he wasn't practicing that since he got on campus. Like the same thing with Daniel Oshefu. He was shooting extended foul line jumpers in practice and warm ups and stuff. We're like, oh, he has that shot kind of like, and he like, you know, everybody is practicing every shot always. Like this is the thing you see with Rudy Gobert was shooting 3-pointers in FIBA. Like all these guys that don't have an outside shot, like you're going to be a professional basketball player. You can hit any shot. All right. I am so over. I'm done with the Pitino worshiping. It was one game against Stony Brook. You won by 16, 20. I don't know. Like the media is driving me crazy. Already.
We're going to get an immediate kind of gut check with them because they play at the Garden versus Michigan on Monday. So I think we'll get an immediate gut check on
it'll
that.
be a reality check potentially.
I don't think Michigan's that great.
I don't think Michigan's good either, but
if they win, man, oh man, the media just fucking
sent
it. It's gonna be like the beginning of the
You're gonna have to save like 2 or 3 minutes for me for every pod just to like complain about the Pitino-ifying of the Big East media, and like people that I like and respect are singing all these praises, and I'm just like, oh my God, like
Rothstein put out a 3-minute highlight clip with the Godfather music behind it.
Which I will say that's like, okay, that's his bit. He did the same. I thought the video he made for John Shire with the Secession theme music was actually pretty funny and pretty cool. I was like a little bit jealous because we still don't have like a Kyle Neptune-ism. I think Rothstein's tweet was just like Villanova looked like old Villanova. They won by a lot tonight and shared the ball. I don't think we've gotten to the point yet where we have like a thing for Kyle Neptune. And I'm jealous that John Shires is really cool. Yeah, but I am Pitino-ifying the media is going to drive me crazy.
It already has. So good though. The coaches are so good, and it's so much fun.
I
know, but it drives me crazy.
I didn't hate what I've seen from Pitino thus far.
No,
like I haven't been like that in on like the media like blowing it up. But like when Pitino was talking about like having fun coaching, I was smiling. I was like, yeah, I'm glad you're having fun.
No, I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. I'm saying the media's coverage of what is happening is driving me crazy.
Okay,
Pitino has been fine in how he's handling everything. It's cool that he's like, we're St. John's. We're going to play in big arenas. They want to do a game in Arthur Ashe Stadium next year, which would be insane.
Which would be really cool, yeah.
I would go to that. I think they're trying to like set it up against Duke. Like that would be really cool. Pitino is fine. It's the media portrayal that is driving me insane, to be fair, to be clear. And I'm done.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It's a little bit of an easier storyline than pushing the Cooley storyline, because with the Cooley storyline, you got the Providence fans going absolutely fucking bonkers. So it's like I think they feel more comfortable pushing Pitino, which it is hilarious to be like, hey, of all the people, Rick Pitino is the easier storyline to push this right now.
We're pushing our prodigal son who did nothing wrong in his time away from the conference.
He has done nothing wrong ever.
Yeah,
let him enjoy his 13 seconds of fame.
He always gets out to fast starts, which I think is awesome. Like he's quick right out of the gate.
That's the joke I just made.
I know, but nobody reacted, so I get to take it.
Brian really hammered it. It was really, you didn't do a good enough job with it.
I said 13
He said the 13 seconds, which is more specific.
But you should have said 15 seconds.
But the joke has to just blast off right away. So you just need to...
There was an article about Ed Cooley that came out on The Athletic this week. Dana O'Neill wrote about his like daily walk routine and how a part of his walk is going up the stairs that they used in The Exorcist.
Stairs.
Which is like so poetic and just perfect for him for what he's dealing with from the Providence side of things.
Do you guys think because Papa John is no longer a Louisville booster that Rick Pitino brings him into the St. John's fold? New York is known for pizza. That one Syracuse booster was a free agent. So there's kind of a precedent set for boosters switching teams.
I think Papa John is going through his own issues right now.
But it'd be nice to kind of get a little rehab tour like Pitino has. Like people,
I think he's too toxic. Yeah.
I mean, New York loves pizza. I don't know. You guys are closer to New York than me. So
Pitino is gonna get like some.
Barrows is king of New York pizza. First of all,
it's my favorite slice. My favorite slice.
It's an authentic piece right here in Times Square.
I don't know what Pitino's ads are going to be in the city yet. I haven't seen any, but it's coming. Yeah. So I guess like stock up, stock down, 1 game reaction. Anything change so far for you guys in terms of your expectations in terms of where teams might finish in the conference? I'll start. I thought that Georgetown was going to be last. I'm now seeding that DePaul will indeed finish last in this conference. So that's my one thing. I'm still on team, tank DePaul for Calipari, but yeah, they were bad. They were really bad, and Georgetown looked at least competent, granted against a bad opponent, but competent nonetheless. So I think that Georgetown will finish ahead of Paul in this year's.
Okay, that's not just me. Chris is.
No. Chris is freezing.
Other than that,
it's finally not me.
I'm back. I think I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
It's not you. Other than that, us. I feel like I think I had us at like 4th or 5th. I think we have every chance to be probably top 4 still, but like. Because I just don't want. It's hard to jump Creighton, UConn, or Marquette, but like it's definitely possible.
Yeah, I think I'm holding my stock that I established last week. Georgetown, I think, will be a bottom 3 team with with DePaul for sure, and then probably Seton Hall and Butler. A mix of those. I think the top 4 still looks like any combination of Marquette, Creighton, us, and UConn. And then Providence looked good, I guess. So Providence to lead that next tier with St. John's and Rick Pitino, the savior, and everybody else. I'm holding.
You're holding.
Yeah,
really?
I'd say I'm holding on basically everything. Maybe I'm like looking at a little bit more Butler stock. Just like I like what I've seen I like what I feel like I like seeing with this team, and like I like Posh. I like some of the pieces, but like not enough to buy anything. So I'm basically holding on everything. I'm still anti-Creighton this year. I'm putting my stake in the claim. I'm anti-Creighton, which totally means they're going to win the title. So go bet that. I'm
in on November, Posh, but you have to remember this guy tends to have issues in January and February.
Up and down and up and down.
I'm going to buy now and I'll sell in January or December, right before it happens.
There you go.
All right.
But yeah, nothing else really.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just excited. College basketball is back. Oh, I have one other thing we got to talk about. This media thing with like Jeff Goodman puts out an article, Seth Davis retweets it and says, yeah, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, we need better games in week 1 of the college basketball season. I've made my thoughts clear on this in that I don't care. I like the first week I'm happy for first week, kind of like get the jitters out, play worse opponents, whatever type things. I'm a diehard. I pay attention anyway. Their commentary is like getting the other fans involved. I don't think those other fans give a shit till Thanksgiving anyway. So like at best, but curious to hear your guys' thoughts if you guys have any different opinions on the week 1 games.
I tend to disagree with Seth Davis and Goodman in general.
Out of pocket.
Yeah, out of yeah, that's usually my philosophy. I'm with you. I think, if certain team, like the Champions Classic kind of thing every year, where like the second or third game suddenly is like Duke and Kentucky or Indiana and Kentucky, like whatever the big names that do have those games annually, like cool. I get what they're saying, but they likened it to like all the other like professional leagues having like Super Bowl rematches in week 1 and stuff like that. But like you have to remember, like the Jets play the Raiders in Thursday Night Football this week, as like that's the premier game on Thursday or next week, whatever it is. Like there's duds all over the place. So I don't really follow their logic. I'm fine with the warm up till Thanksgiving and then turning the corner. It's a long season.
I think Thanksgiving is when it should happen. I like the fact that Thanksgiving is kind of solely the NCAA's. Like football happens on Thanksgiving Day, but that entire week is college basketball. What I think would be interesting is I understand what they're saying. There's definitely an opportunity to kind of make a claim. I think what they should do is actually kind of completely separate. You need the actual tune-up games to like be tune-up games. Think you need those. What they should do is the week before, just have a bunch of exhibition games where you get to see high-level teams who aren't playing each other play each other for charity. So like the Purdue-Arkansas game that happened like 2 weeks ago, I would like to see a lot of that. So you get like these high-level, it kind of gets you into the season. You have these high-level teams. The games don't mean anything, so it's a little bit of fun. It goes for a good cause. You sell out arenas. I think that's a good way to kind of strike that balance of, all right, these teams are getting tuned up, because it's not that like what's more important, that the game counts or that it happens. And I think for like at this stage in the season, it's more that just it happens. So I'd like to see like you put them on the big networks at ESPN, you have a chance for more money. Have more of those level of tune-up games. Do ticket sales go for charity, for whatever, split the difference. I don't really care. And then that's a way to kind of get the season started. Then you can kind of roll into like, all right, you roll into whatever your first week games, and then they have the Champions Classic. I don't really think it's that big of a deal regardless. Like you have the Champions Classic in the first week or the second week of the season. I can't remember when they started to push it towards. So overall, like I don't really think it's that big of a deal. But if there was something cool to do, it's an opportunity to take a swing and do something different.
Well, kind of echoing what Chris said, I didn't see any of the original tweets, but I fully agree with him. College football first weekend, there's usually 2 ranked teams playing Memorial Day weekend, and everybody else plays crap teams. And that should be the template for college basketball, not professional basketball. And the other thing, whenever teams lose early and they're seeding for the tournament, it gets thrown out anyway. You'll always hear, oh, that was the first week of the season, so it doesn't matter. So why play relevant games when they're treated as irrelevant later? Like, I agreeing with what everybody said here, it seems like just they're complaining for something to complain about, and they're the first ones to throw out a really good team's November loss because it was in November, as if that's not part of the season. Like,
well, and not, they just want like some big splash because they think it's going to get people back into college basketball, and I just don't think they're working in a reality. Like, look,
you're not going to hold them till
there's only one sport that gets people back in immediately, and it's football. That's the only thing. Yeah.
Conference play gets people back a little bit that are more than casual, and then conference tournaments is when the casual people start tuning in. You're not going to get them 7 months early because UCLA played Illinois, like whoever.
Yeah.
I'm Brian. I just kind of like agree. Plus, also like, look, we talked a lot about what we like, what we saw, whatever. But like the reality of the situation is that the basketball isn't very good right now. I don't want the casual fan tuning in because if they tune in, they're going to react like this sucks.
Yeah.
But like, if they don't have a rooting interest and don't know the players or whatever, it just looks like a crap product at the moment, which is it's kind of the point, right? So I'm kind of the view of like, hey, like let's let the teams work some kinks out, get that out of their way, out of their belt, like under their belt, and then after they tune up for a week or two, like go all in on the turkey tournaments. Like say like, hey, this is the start of the season. This is fun. Like whatever. Like and then like there's a record, but like who cares? Like
there's so few good non-conference games anyway. Why are we going to burn them in the first week of like, oh, that team wasn't ready yet? Like it's great to see those in like early December. Like I think whenever we play UCLA, like there's other good games going on then. I don't want that November 3rd. Like,
yep.
Right. And they're also the first people who say like, well, why don't these teams play other teams mid-majors to give anyone an opportunity? Right. Well, now you're telling them to play all the big major teams to play each other week 1. And like, there's some arguments to say, oh, why doesn't Duke go on the road to play at, Quinnipiac? Who cares? Right? Like, I don't care anyway.
There's 300 some teams, but they can't all play each other, guys.
Right.
But what's great is there's a big tournament at the end where like the conferences don't really matter, and then
it's actually easier to win than the conference tournaments.
Yeah, the TV's booked. Like the games can happen.
Willie, how are Nova Knicks doing right now versus the Fighting Wembanyamas?
They blew him out. It was they blew him out. I was watching up till halftime. Brunson had a stretch where he went like hit 3 straight threes. Brunson had 25, played well. Brunson's been playing pretty well. Josh and Dante didn't really like do much of anything, but it was such a blowout that it really doesn't matter. Arch got to play, so that's a big plus. So 4 Villanova players. Arch's second game of the year. But
take that, TJ McConnell.
Oh man. Ryan Arch is like to this year's Knicks as Chris Arch is to this year's
Yeah. I don't think just quick whipping around. Jamal Murray's out for the Nuggets, which does mean that Reggie Jackson will start, which does mean that the backup point guard will be Colin Gillespie, who's been playing well. Like genuinely, like if anyone hasn't watched, Colin's been playing well. He played legitimately, like I think almost 20 minutes a week a couple games ago.
He was getting third quarter minutes.
Yeah,
he's scoring a little bit, passing well. He had his first NBA points before Cam and Jermaine did, which is cool.
Culture.
On the Cam and Jermaine
Let's
Jermaine
fucking
side.
go, CG. I love to hear that.
Yeah. On the Cam and Jermaine side, both of them got sent down to the G League, which isn't a bad thing. That's just what happens. Jermaine is on a 2-way, so that was naturally going to happen anyways. Cam, like we all like when you talk about playing basketball and being a young player, Cam's I think the 5th youngest player in the league. You need reps, and the Rockets are weirdly kind of good. They're actually beating the Lakers by 30 right now. The Rockets are weirdly kind of just good because they went and got Fran VanVleet and Dylan Brooks. And so without diving into that, there's just not really opportunity for Cam to go and play. And like, if you want, the way I'll describe it is if you draft a player, you play, they get molded to their opportunity. And so if you took Cam and you just put him in like, hey, we don't want you to do anything else, we're going to plug you in the corner, he's just going to develop like that. And that's not why you drafted Cam 20th. That's not why you would have drafted him 4th or whenever like anyone was thinking about him. It's because of everything that he can do. So you want to let him go find the limits of his game. And the best place to do that is in the G League, where Cam's going to be I guarantee you Cam will take 25 shots in his first G League game. Like that's just going to happen because it's going to be like, go explore your game. And then we'll hone it down to like what works. And like, you can work on the rest. So not a bad thing. It's kind of expected. He'll bounce back and forth. But shout out to Cam for his first NBA buckets. I think on Sunday, same thing with Jermaine Samuels, who hit a free throw the game prior, but then had a couple of layups in his most recent game. But both of them are going to be down in the G League. Kyle Lowry's just Kyle Lowry at this stage. There's nothing much to say. Old man Kyle. He's doing his thing.
JRE is 1 rebound away from a double-double with the Pelicans that he signed with last week or the week before. He opted for a 2-way contract with the Pelicans where he saw a path to more playing time, I think, than other options that he had for full NBA contracts with other teams. That was the report, at least.
Yeah. I thought that was a weird decision, but I was like, you know what?
Yeah, interesting. But, the Pelicans are one of those teams for non-NBA sickos. Like, the Pelicans are one of those teams that cannot stay healthy for the life of them.
Yeah.
Like,
Zion just
Jeremiah started tonight. So
Yeah.
that, like, they needed depth pieces, and he saw that as an opportunity to play. I think Mikal has scored at least 20 in every game so far this season.
Pelicans always
Not
struggle.
tonight, actually. Mikal only had 10, but they beat the Clippers, so that's all that matters. Mikal almost flirted with a triple-double, actually. But
and then Sadiq's been fine. Like, I don't think he.
Hawks are playing well. Yeah.
Yeah. Hawks are playing well. Sadiq's been like a fine part of that. Overall, he's probably, I'm not looking at his numbers. I'm going to make a guess. He's probably averaging around like 12 and like just on decent numbers. Yep, he's averaging exactly 12.1. Look at me. And then like on pretty decent like shooting splits. So he's been looking fine as well.
When Rob and I started this segment in 2018,
there was 2 players.
It was called the Hart Monitor because Josh Hart was the only other player other than Kyle Lowry in the league. I think Randy Foy was still there at that point in time, but like, yeah, it's actually fucking crazy, and maybe Cunningham, but it's actually crazy how this segment goes forever now.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I think am I forgetting one too, or do we hit everything?
Cole Swider.
Yeah, sure, Cole Swider.
We haven't had the debate if we could lay claim.
Also, another lay claim thing, like Quinterly was a one and done, so he came for the one season and then he left. So has his NBA career been going well as a former 5-star one and done guy?
Yeah, he plays for Memphis.
Grizzlies,
He had like 8 points in this game last time, but yeah.
Hey, you're getting paid to play. You can't complain.
Oh my God!
It was his 5th choice for a reason.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do we have anyone else to bully before?
I mean, yeah, I can.
Yeah. We can always find someone to bully.
We can go down the list. I mean, you want me to just rip Twitter right now? I can just keep going.
Trevor, how's the women's team this year? I know that you've
Nova women's team opens up on Friday at Portland, hoping to exact some revenge on behalf of the men's team last year.
Portland, Maine, or Portland, Oregon?
I believe Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They play Friday night. Pretty cool. Maddie Siegrist, I don't know if we touched on this. She came back and in the WNBA offseason will have a role as a kind of like special assistant advisor kind of deal with the women's team. Nice. So she is back on campus. I saw her at homecoming. So she is back in town, which is always good to have the greatest player your program has produced to be around. Yeah, they play Portland Friday at like 9 o'clock. It looks like on ESPN Plus.
Lucy Olsen season starts.
Lucy Olsen's team.
Oh yeah, Willie is a big Lucy Olsen
loose dog, but the biggest fan. I'm so excited for her to take a leap.
I just love watching Lucy Olsen play basketball.
She does. She plays. She plays a fun brand of point guard. It's true. That's it, right?
Yeah,
we kind of covered everything. So yeah,
there's no one else to bully. I think we're good.
I drank a whole whiskey.
Did you whiskey or tequila?
I drank a whole tequila, and I'm just about to finish a whole whiskey. So,
Chris is having a night. Jeez,
Chris. I mean,
Wednesday.
Whiskey Wednesday, bro.
40. It's a full 40. I've been doing this for 7 years.
I know, but I meant just switching up midway is it's a bold move.
Oh yeah, no. Like I'm one of those people who like just throws bullshit on all alcohol. Like, oh, I switched too much. I had too many different types of alcohol, and I'm like, yeah, that's not how it works.
That's buddy. Let me tell you. If you could speak to me last week.
You get hungover or drunk or whatever, or get sick because you had too much. It had nothing to do with the type. The alcohol is the alcohol. Or you're allergic to something.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a lot of people with gin allergies that don't know that, like for real. And they get crazy. And you have to explain to them, like, hey, you're an insane person when you drink that one kind of liquor.
So
Right.
maybe I'm allergic to red wine because
Seems like an
Good Lord.
offline
Yeah, no,
conversation.
No,
it's
Willie.
the chemistry of how you're processing it, for real.
No, Willie. Look, red wine. I fucking love red wine. Right.
Me
Like,
too.
I'm Italian. Love red wine. It's kind of like part of the shtick, right? But red wine gives me hangovers like fucking crazy. Like the red wine hangovers are horrendous.
Yeah, you give me some red wine and I'm liable to say something, so we don't need to talk about it.
All right. On that note,
On that note, red wine is the drink of choice for next week.
I'm gonna drink an episode and drink nothing but red wine, and it's gonna be off the rails. I'm gonna
and
tell
we're
you.
not going to tell you which one, but the audience will know.
Yeah, judging by the fact that you're the only person who keeps any episode on the rails, this needs to happen. Willie's like, I want to talk ball. And Trevor and I are like, we want to.
Did you see this thing that happened on Twitter?
Yeah. I'm sitting here like, the next episode, I'm going to do a full Twitter rundown of all their fan bases. And Willie's like, can I talk about how many points Jeremiah Robinson Earl has? Like
I want to talk about the scheme that the Knicks are using for Dante and Josh's action in the second quarter.
I mean, if you've seen the beauty of a Spain pick and roll, baby, like it's really great.
It is great, especially when they're long.
All right, we can end this. Come on.
Yeah, that's exactly how this should
Ryan, put everybody out of their misery.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And as always, let's go Nova.